Welcome to the Tuck Shop Podcast, everybody. Another week here at the show. We're enjoying better weather and back from spring break and all that fun jazz. And unlike the last week or two, I get to welcome David back to the show.
Yeah, I came out because the weather got nice.
You were hiding.
Hibernating. Hibernating.
Nice. Yeah. No. You were a part of not the show, but you've last week's episode where we talked to Skip Glenn's class about that. You've been helping them out with that as well.
I want to throw out a thank you to all of the alum that answered the survey that went out. I think it's tomorrow, a meeting with the class again. They're going to present their findings from the survey, which it's interesting because it's about connecting alum, simple stuff, connecting alum with these students that, there's a lot of things you can give to this university. You can give your time, you can give your money, give whatever, but you know what? Students, I think, always want to hear alumni advice. So it's real important of those of you that filled out that survey. I want to thank you on behalf of Skip's class and Institutional Advancement for taking the time. It wasn't a very long survey. I took it, a couple of minutes, but it helps to connect alumni with what our kids are doing here, what our students are doing here. So thank you very much.
And they're really excited about it. And actually, an email I got after we recorded that day, they went back to class to finish things up, and they spent apparently a big chunk of the rest of the class talking about shouldn't there be some type of podcast recording studio as part of this concept.
That was part of it. I think that was also one of the questions in the survey. At some
it may have been.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. That's kind of a cool way.
So I think they'd never seen something like we have set up here in our my traveling bag of.
Yeah, but neat. I mean,
items.
It's that interaction. It's that giving of your advice. You've been there. It helps those students out. So thanks.
No, it's pretty neat. The other neat thing that happened today, once I got you past being a journalism major to focus on the actual content of the story, not just typeface and
oh yeah, that's my days at the Advocate.
The show was recognized by the editorial board of the Tribune. Effectively their words were, "This is worth a listen."
Yeah.
So if you're listening now, you are a trendsetter.
Yeah. And it's good to see that again, all kidding aside, for those of us that are journalism majors, anyone that's listening out there, we've had many long discussions about gutters on pages and appropriate font, appropriate size of headlines, that sort of thing. Not that the Trib doesn't follow any of that, but it's something we all talk about. But it was, I don't want to say the word refreshing. I guess I'm all lost. I don't have the right word. But it was good to see that the Trib recognized that it's the telling again of alumni stories of a university that they consider part of the community.
To me, it sounds bad saying it this way. It's not a revelation. It's a confirmation that we were on the right path. When you and I sat down 2 years ago and kind of said, "This is going to be fun. Let's try this," and I don't want to say there were people who were against it. That's not true. But it was something different, and sometimes different things kind of make people a little apprehensive. And it's very nice to see that how the alumni have rallied around this idea, and how the community has rallied around it, and it's kind of become this little part of our lives.
I think a lot of people just question anything that's out there, how effective. Although podcasting is new. As well as I do, there's a podcast forest out there with a lot of trees in it. And how do you get your podcast that someone listens to it, that someone continues to share it, that somebody wants to be a guest on it? And I think, even from the initial name of the Tuck Shop, when you say that, if you're not part of the UPJ community, you kind of not even sure what that is. But if you were part of or still part of it, the Tuck Shop has taken on transformation from what it once was, but it was the place where you kind of hung out and just chatted. I guess you did a podcast before there was such a thing as a pod. It
was just conversation at that point.
Right.
You didn't record it,
right?
But it was a neat thing, and I want to thank the Tribune for looking at that and reaching out and doing that story, as well as their efforts today to kind of recognize that as well. That's kind of it isn't kind of. It is very neat and it's very special.
I would agree.
And like I said during the interview, there are plenty of podcasts, like you just said, there are plenty of podcasts out there, and there's a lot of about podcast about the university as a whole, as all the campuses.
Sure.
But almost, I think we might be the only one talking about any of the alum. Everything tends to be more sports related, and understandably, there's a lot of folks who are sports fans and so forth. But I think that we are uniquely positioned to launch this ship into orbit, or I don't know, blow up on the launch pad. But either one, I'm glad to be a part of it. As you can
Blowing
imagine,
up on a launch pad's painful. Not that I've ever done it, but I assume that it is. Orbit, I think, is a little better option.
Yeah. So I just wanted to thank them, and if you haven't seen it, go ahead, take a look at their article out there.
Editorial.
The editorial.
Yeah.
I guess, well, the article.
There you go. I'm going to advocate you on you. It's editorial.
It's a back down journalism degree.
Not technically an article.
What office are you sitting in now? This is geography. So,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't fancy ourselves to that kind of talk over here.
I'll let you to make in your maps.
Thank you. Yes. No, the funny thing is, like you said, every field has that, because I can look to this day. I remember years ago, 4 or 5 years ago during COVID, that they flipped the colors at one of the distribution maps for something. And I'm like, I was outraged because of the cartography.
Oh man, Point Pica, certain pages. I mean, I grew up in a different time of journalism when, and I guess not to get off, I'm not going to get off on a tangent, I promise, but there was a standard. It was called the AP guide that you had to go and look. But there were standards. I can remember standards of what size a headline could be. And certain size headlines were only reserved for national, like if we went to war.
Or Kennedy assassinated.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And nowadays it's like anything goes. You know what I mean? Like you see stuff on newspapers that are just, they use whatever font they want. They use whatever style they want. So it's, I don't know, like I said, I'm not going down that trail.
No, that's great. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else for old man boomer talk we have to go over before we get into our schedule of events we wanted to talk about today. I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything.
I wasn't cut off in traffic or anything like that.
Get your ball out of my yard.
Yeah, no, that's,
There was a day.
I got hate mail today, but that's completely unrelated.
I didn't get any mail today, so consider yourself lucky.
One thing that I wanted to make sure we talked about today, and that's good to have you back so we can keep going over these things, is we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline as far as alumni stuff goes.
Yep.
First thing up, in now looking at my calendar, is we're recording on and releasing this on the 19th of March. 2 weeks from Saturday is going to be UPJ night at the Tomahawks.
Correct.
April 5th. All the links are on the alumni social media. It'll be in the podcast description as well. You can get tickets. Come out. We're going to have a table in the concourse someplace. Mm-hmm. We're going to have seats together. You can hang out. There's some students coming. There's some alumni coming. So we got a lot of cool things. It's worth coming out. A little bit of that proceeds go back and help us.
Yep.
But not much. We're not. That's not a fundraiser thing for us. That's more of a we're here to have fun and do a cool event and kind of touch ourselves into that little bit of the community as well. So that's the April 5th. The
other thing I want to touch on, because I think this podcast is taking a sports theme, believe it or not, I guess.
Okay.
Tomahawks, I think it's the next week. Correct me on my math. Not real good at that. April 16th, 19th?
That would be 19th would be 2 weeks.
April 26th, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's 3 weeks after the hockey game.
After the hockey game. Still in April. Again, sports related. It's our annual Pitt Johnstown Athletic Hall of Fame dinner and induction ceremony. Invites have gone out for that. It's on our webpage. It's you can click our Facebook page to register athletics. I also sent out in the last couple of days a bunch of personal emails to alum sports related that I've met over the last 2.5, 3 years. If you can't attend, there's also an option to buy an ad. So let's say that, I can't attend, but I was a basketball player, I was a wrestler. I want to congratulate the inductees or just good luck all around. Feel free to buy an ad if you can't come in and enjoy the night. It's going to be, they're always fun because they're always, the quintessential walk down memory lane. If you didn't play the sport, you remember possibly being at some of those events when, the women went to the Final Four, the wrestlers in their many different trips to the Nationals. Also, so it's that's something coming up the 26th. Keep an eye out for that, and registration's open.
Yeah.
So have at it.
That's a cool event coming up there as well. Always well attended and well liked. So make sure you get involved in that. Again, everything's going to be out there on the Alumni social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. So you got ways to get a hold of us across the board. And again, even if you can't find it. It's buried behind something. You're not quite sure where to find it. Every time we do one of these, I put both my email and David's email in the description. So worst case comes to worst, shoot one of us an email and say, I can't find this. Help me out. Yeah. I got a question.
Yep.
I want to be on the show. Whatever.
Absolutely. Sure.
Let us know, and we're glad to. We'll get back to you as soon as possible.
And I think through the wonders of technology, you actually don't have to be physically here to be on the show. Is that correct?
You don't. We've done plenty that are remote.
Right. Absolutely.
That gets us into May. May gets us to the end of term. We have graduation, which doesn't apply to everybody, but the end of May has our weekend long dual events.
Yeah.
Golf tournament on the 30th of May.
And then 31st into the 1st of June is our Mountain Cat Music, Media, and More reunion, which includes that site should be up by the end of March. So watch for that. But it includes people from The Advocate, people from WPJ TV, WPJ FM, the programming board. If you were a member of Backroads, a member of Trails. I want to say Crossroads, but it's the Trails.
Yeah.
Trails Yearbook. We'd love to have you come up. A lot of great things going on. Again, it's just sitting around reminiscing. We'll have a informal/formal mixer Friday night. Saturday starts with a mimosa brunch. Then tours of the campus, activities that include the radio station, the programming board, all of the other organizations that I mentioned, hopefully TV, yearbook, advocates, so on and so forth. And then we cap it off Saturday night with cookout barbecue. One of the cool things that I'm really excited about is WPJ AM has threatened to come back live through that entire weekend, spinning. I guess where I can use the word spinning. Is it spinning anymore? No. It's
probably all MP3s.
MP3s.
Or Spotify.
But they will be broadcasting throughout the entire day.
How are they doing that?
That's part of the excitement, Matt.
They don't know.
Well, we're figuring it out. I have a crack team of alumni that I can't reveal their location. They're working on to bring back, some of the old DJs and play songs throughout the last 50 years.
Okay.
So I can tell you.
Should be interesting. Cool. We'll have to figure out what we can put on the show here.
Yeah, because we're also going to have this podcast there live also.
Yes. So we'll have to figure out. Yeah. Music rights tend to get a little wonky. So we'll figure something out.
Sure they do.
Yeah, Mr. 40,000 CDs over there. Yeah. But that whole weekend is going to be really cool. You have both the idea of the golf tournament that Friday. You can come, you can golf, you then can check in for the reunion. Or if you just want to golf, you can just golf. Or you just want to do the reunion, you want to do the reunion. Yep. That's fine. They are not exclusive. Both are not, they're not exclusive. Thank you. That's the correct word for it.
A la carte if you'd like.
That it is. So just because you don't necessarily fit into the reunion part doesn't mean the golf thing isn't for you.
Absolutely.
It's all alumni. It's any community member out there who wants to come.
Sure. If you want to come up and golf Friday and stay overnight Friday night and head out Saturday morning, we can accommodate rooms and living learning centers.
Yeah, you can also stay on campus, which is really cool as well. So that takes us through May. So that's a bunch of different events coming up, a lot of work going into it, a lot of people. I can also confirm, because we got the date, for those of you out there who fall into are an education alum. We're doing a similar event to last fall. Education with Dr. Charlene Rowland, who's big supporter of the show. Education's doing a morning brunch event. They're doing a morning event for alumni involving talking concepts of education, bringing people back together. It was a huge success for them last year. They're looking to expand it this year. And at the same time, because we had the partnership with all of social science, it worked out really well. And with the launch in the fall of the new geosciences that Dr. Shaney talked about when she was on a couple weeks ago, we're going to do a joint celebration event as well in conjunction, kind of at the same time on campus with every major that makes up geosciences. That's our GIS folks. That's our geography. That's our geology. That's our environmental studies folks. Everyone's going to be getting an invite back to that. That whole event, that's going to be September 20th. So save the date on that one. It's a good bit of the way out, but remember that.
Will you have live broadcast in 30 years of The Advocate?
30 years.
Every issue.
I don't know if I'll do a live broadcast from that particular event, mostly because it's also an event as I attend as an alum. But we may set it up and turn it loose for the students to have some fun with. So more importantly, the events that are coming up, hockey game's going to be great. The Hall of Fame is always an amazing time, and the golf tournament. By the way, that golf tournament, yes, we go out, we have some fun, but every bit of money that comes in from that we make as profit, that goes into scholarship funds. Scholarships that go to students to help them complete their education here. We have 11 of those students this year who are going to be receiving support from that scholarship fund to help them finish their
So it goes
degrees.
to a junior.
Yeah, it goes to a junior to make sure they can get over that last hurdle and make sure that they're not that last mile and can't get done. So that's where those things go, and that's where that money helps. So come out, spend the day. Even if you don't golf, you can come and have dinner with us.
Have dinner.
And see how bad the rest of us did when we golfed.
You'll bring your maps.
We
That's
will.
bad.
No, our goal this year, David, since we didn't do it last year, is actually finish all 18 holes in the allotted time. Because we couldn't do that last year.
That rivals with my golf game is leave with more found balls than balls I've lost.
Yeah, you spend more time in the woods, but actually just looking for other people's lost balls.
Yeah, because if I take home more than what I started with, it's a good day.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Send help.
Bring the maps.
Bring the maps. All right, David, good talking to you. Good seeing you again.
Good being back.
And we'll talk to everyone next week. The Tuck Shop podcast is recorded live on the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown campus. Update your contact information with us by visiting johnstown.pitt.edu/alumni. Connect with us online via Facebook and LinkedIn, or consider donating to the university at give2, that's giveto.pitt.edu/giveupj.
This has been a production of Quantum Wave Media. Views expressed do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.